Right now there is a massive power grab happening, a battle for which AI companies will reign supreme. And whoever comes out on top will have more influence over society than any leader, dictator, or politician before them, along with billions of dollars added to their names. Whoever comes out on top will be the new modern-day feudal lords, while the rest of the masses, the new modern-day serfs. But it won't be just billionaires that will be minted. No, this revolution will usher in a new era of millionaires and multimillionaires. Generational wealth is here for the taking. And if you don't want to be fending for scraps, then you better act fast. That's why in this video, me and Lior are gonna go over what to do right now if you're technical, what opportunities there are for you if you're not technical, and much more. And because Lior is actually in the trenches every day studying the stuff, reading the research papers, seeing the trends, you're gonna hear a ton of stuff that you're not gonna hear anywhere else. I learned a ton just from making this video, so you are not gonna want to miss a second of it. Stay dangerous, and this is how to use this AI revolution to make generational wealth. If you want to understand how to make money off of AI, no matter if you're technical or not, you have to first understand what made ChatGPT go viral in the first place.
So what's very interesting, if you noticed, I said that OpenAI released their first GPT language model paper in 2018, right? We're in 2023. So what happened? Basically, they went through version 1, GPT-1, GPT-2, GPT-3, and then GPT 3.5, and then GPT-4. But GPT existed from 2000. So why did it hit now? Why did it have such a big impact now? And the reason is that they created the interface. And the genius of OpenAI is, there's some credit to the model, of course, but the genius is that they understood that having an easy-to-use, frictionless interface is much more valuable than a very advanced AI model. Think about the fact that you don't even need to take care of punctuations or typos when you write to ChatGPT. That's crazy. That means that anyone in the world can now write broken English and make it work. So that's what's very remarkable what they did. So to answer your question, I think there's a lot of opportunities in taking complex AI models and making it more available, understandable, and democratizing it to the average population. I think that's going to benefit everyone, and I think this is where most of the opportunities are. I think just taking those models, understanding them, and saying, hey, this could be applied there. This could help for trauma. This could help for therapy. This could help for finance. This could help for lawyers. So I think that's more interesting.
ChatGPT blew up because it removed friction. It allowed the common man to use it without any technical knowledge whatsoever. And it's a lesson that you can borrow from.
I still believe that's the way to go. I still believe that's the best way to take advantage of the AI wave, or not take advantage, but more like, get into AI and do work and progress in AI, is to wrap the complex research and models and tools into user-friendly interfaces for the general population. And they say that every successful technology is seamless. So the Wi-Fi, the 5G, 4G, you don't feel it. You don't feel the difference. And that's what's going to happen. It's already happening with AI. AI is everywhere. It's on your iPhone. It's on this computer. AI is probably recording my voice right now and coding and decoding it and improving it. And so that's what's going to happen. So we have a seamless integration of AI into our society. And I think if you can help that to go faster, and if you can help society or AI to get into society faster, there's a lot of opportunities there. All you have to do is find ways, understand what AI can do. It cannot do everything. Understand what it cannot do. Once you understand that, find opportunities where you can take that solution and apply it to. That could be, I've seen it done everywhere. I've seen it done, in autonomous trucks, freight control, planes. It could be Amazon uses it to, sort their merchandise. So you just need to find a way to apply it. But I do think that there's a lot of opportunities to do that.
If someone knows the basics of coding, they know Python or whatever, how do you recommend they learn about AI specifically? The technical aspects of it.
If you know Python and you want to get started, I think the number one thing you have to start doing is understanding what it does. You can skip the theory, actually. What I recommend is to do a hybrid between theory and practice, where you can go on a YouTube channel and have someone code a neural network from scratch and go through the theory at the same time. And so what I recommend is to start implementing right now. So you want to understand how a neural network works? You know how to code? Okay, code one. Develop one. It's like 25 lines of code. You can do it. Just Google it, find ways to do it, and you start like that and you build on top. Okay, now I know how to do a neural network. How can I do a neural network that can understand images, like a CNN? It's called a convolutional neural network. And you code it, and then you go to the next level. Okay, I want to do, videos. It's the next level. And then you start like that. There's also a lot of websites like Kaggle, which are pretty cool. Kaggle is a website where companies have AI and data science problems, and they say, okay, we have this problem, this is our data set, fix it. Like, find a solution. And then you have like millions of people throughout the world that are trying to solve that, and the one who wins gets like a lot of money. And so what's cool is that once the competition is done, or even before, you can put your solution public. So what you have is you have people that are super smart with years and decades of experience telling you exactly how to solve a problem, and they have their solution and their code, and most of the time they're walking you through the code. So that's a great way to get started and to understand what each line of code does.
So if you want to go down this technical route, learn Python, learn the basics of how to code a neural net, learn from websites like Kaggle that have competitions to solve AI problems. And once you have that foundation, it's time to start finding an everyday problem that you can solve with AI. And the biggest niche that's popping off right now that investors are throwing a ton of money at are generative AI startups. What is the world of AI, generative AI startups looking like right now? Is it like popping off? A lot of investor money?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of funding and money being thrown at generative AI. I think there was a recent report showing that Y Combinator had, at least a quarter or a third of their batch of winter 2023 being generative AI, which is crazy. 2 years ago, it was zero. So you can imagine how every investor is betting on the future of generative AI. And also, you have companies like Perplexity AI who just raised, $26 million. You have Stability. There's big companies, a lot of funding flowing to AI. But, one thing is interesting is that when I look at the numbers, they're good numbers. So we do still feel the recession. The numbers are still lower than 2 years ago, but money, I think, is still being pushed in AI. And we're still, because people believe in it. People believe it's the future. The economy could go up and down. It's still the future. So that's why everybody's starting to push towards that direction.
And perhaps the greatest example of an AI startup entrepreneur is a guy named Alexander Wang, the youngest self-made billionaire in the world at only 25 years old. Alexander Wang's company is called Scale AI, and although you may not know his name, his face, or even his company yet, he just became the youngest self-made billionaire in the world thanks to his work in AI. What did he create that was so valuable? Simple, he solved a big AI-related pain point for big businesses that no one else was paying attention to.
Scale AI is the data infrastructure for AI to power the most ambitious AI projects in the world. Every organization wants to implement AI, but oftentimes the biggest bottleneck in their way is being able to create really high quality data and data sets to power that AI. At Scale, we sort of view data as the core problem of building great AI, whereas a lot of other companies view it as an afterthought, and that really prevents AI from having sort of the magnitude of outcomes that it's able to have. We've raised over $600 million to date, and we work with everywhere from the largest automakers in the world, like Toyota and General Motors, to the United States Department of Defense, to some of the largest enterprises in the world, like Microsoft, Square, and PayPal, and some of the leading AI research organizations.
So far we've covered what to do if you're technical, if you're into coding, but what if you're not technical at all? Well, we have good news for you, because AI is about to usher in a whole new era for entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I think it's the same. As I said, it's like helping society cross over, implement AI seamlessly. You don't need to be technical to do that. You just have to team up with someone that is maybe technical, or you can take pre-packaged AI. You can take ChatGPT, for example, and create an agency around it and go to companies and say, hey, I can solve X, Y, and Z problem. And you in the back end run ChatGPT. And now what you're going to have is, a reduction of the team size. AI is going to go, so 50 years ago, 100 years ago, we had companies with 600, thousands of employees. And then with the internet, it just got smaller. And now with AI, it's going to get even smaller. So now you can run like a multi-million-dollar company with 10 people. I think in the age of AI, you're going to need 3 people. And, if you're not technical, then all you have to do is be a bridge between service or product and AI. And you can go anywhere and use AI. You just need to know the tools, and then you can create something around it, like a wrapper around it, and then, give clients like that. You can use AI to reduce expenses. So what's going to happen is that you have a lot of businesses that require like a good amount of initial capital. And so what AI could do is reduce that amount. And now what you're going to have is like more and more people getting into business because I don't need to hire a lawyer anymore. I can maybe take an initial version on the internet and then have ChatGPT go through it and adapt it to my problem. Or I don't need to hire a web developer because I can, ask ChatGPT to develop the website. And so what's going to happen is that more and more people that are non-technical will be able to get into business because they'll be assisted by AI to develop websites, to review contracts, or to write job posts, to do copywriting. So there's a lot of opportunities there for sure.
But it's not just entrepreneurs. Here are just a few use cases to get your juices flowing. PhD students are already using AI to organize their thesis research and help them learn Chinese. Doctors are using it to transcribe their patients' visits into clinical notes and to appeal insurance denials. One senior researcher at the Bioinnovation Institute used AI to create new proteins. After doing protein research for a decade, he said he's never been more efficient in his whole career. It's crazy, everything is becoming much easier.
The funny thing I read recently is, actually, maybe I said it. It was ChatGPT just killed the writer's block. Writer's block is not going to exist anymore. It's going to be something of the past because all you have to do if you don't know how to write is saying, I don't want to write this, help me sketch it out. And it's going to help you move forward in your writing. So I think it could help everyone.
But aside from everything we just talked about, the most important thing that you can be doing right now is to just stay up to date with the latest developments in AI. That way, you can see what industries are getting disrupted, you can avoid being on the short end of that stick, you can see new business opportunities pop up that weren't there just a few months ago. But the problem is, the AI field is moving way too fast for anyone to be able to keep up with.
So one of the biggest problems happening with AI right now, and it's been happening for the last few years, is the speed of progress. So as I said, there's like around 2,000 research papers being published every week, and probably the same amount of GitHub repos and codes and models.
So here's what Lior did. He built an AI model to monitor everything happening on the internet in regards to AI. He then feeds it into a database and ranks it by importance. That way, you go from 2,000 research papers to just 3. The problem is these 3 research papers are still really hard for someone like you and me to understand. So me and Lior were talking and we concluded that there needs to be a solution for this. There needs to be a place for the average person to go to learn about the latest developments in AI without needing a PhD. That's why we're excited to announce the new Alpha Signal YouTube channel, where every week we take the biggest AI developments that just happened and explain how it's going to impact the world in videos that even a 5-year-old can understand. And our first video on this new channel is on a brand new AI tool that just dropped called DragGAN, and it's being called the Photoshop Killer. Take a look. And you can watch our new video on it right now by clicking the card on the screen. Click the card on the screen to watch now.